All right, Wade, we are live.
Man, you got to be excited if you guys stayed up late and were on that vital call last night. And I call it vital because, man, it really laid out what Bank Breezy and David Allen Capital is all about. If you guys missed it, you got to go back and read and watch it again. I got pages of notes here that I took from last night, and I know this stuff, but David is on fire and he has a right to be because of what's happening. We're adding a couple new lenders to our platform this week, and I think that will be pretty much all that we're going to add for any time in the near future. But goodness gracious, last night got me so fired up. I want to talk to you today about something I spoke yesterday on the 11:30 call about, and that was, just how quick these select fundings are taking place. We had one come in yesterday, and we had one come in today that I know we're going to do the very quick funding on. But I do want to share my screen, but I got to tell you, I did this in such a hurry that I'm sure I made a mistake. So don't blast me for if I misspelled something. But I want to share this with you guys. Am I sharing my screen now?
You are, yep.
Yes, you are.
All right, guys. Last night when David was talking, he was talking about your warm market and how to find places. This morning, I had a really good conversation with David. And I said, I've I've allowed other people to go out in this area and join the chamber and do different things because I didn't think I had enough time, and they never followed through with any of it. So over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to join my local chamber. I'm going to join a BNI, which is only about 100 yards from where our building is with the Bank Breezy location, and then I'm going to join the Builders Association here, even though we have reps that did that, but they never followed up. Now, in my opinion, up until recently, it was, man, I just don't have time to go to all those places. Guess what? I can't afford not to. And I'm doing that. Well, heck, we already have a program, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, where we'll reimburse up to $500 for the membership for each one of these if you get $100,000 in funding. And there's no time limit to get that 100,000. I just don't understand why thousands and thousands and thousands of DAC reps are not becoming members of BNI clubs, members of chambers, members of home builders associations, because there is a ton of business to be had. If all you ever got in those businesses were 3 or 4 fundings in a year, and we got some people on here that can tell you that they've gotten at least 3 or 4 by being part of that membership and coming. And those 3 and 4 aren't small ones; they're 100, 200, $300,000 funding. So is 10, 15, $20,000 a year per membership worth it for you to go and spend an hour or two once a week, once a month, every couple of weeks? It certainly is to me. What I want to talk to you about, and I didn't have time to really put all this together this morning because I've been fired up all morning, but we're getting offers in like crazy. You guys are doing a really good job of bringing in applications. This week has been phenomenal. Does your client qualify for our select funding? Unlock the lowest repayment rates and premium funding options available exclusively for top performing businesses. Our select funding is designed to provide the best funding prices for highly qualified businesses, ensuring that you're going to get the funding you need to grow and thrive. Really the funding that your client needs. They need to be in business for 3 years. Well, guess what? Yesterday they weren't in business on one that I just got a really good offer on, and they weren't in business for 3 years. I went ahead and sent it, and I got an incredible offer I'm going to talk to you about. But you got to be in. They want about 100,000 in monthly sales, There's a couple of them are doing a little bit under 100,000 that I got incredible offers for, and we want a 700 FICO score. And why choose the select funding? Well, the rates on select funding is going to be anywhere from a 118 to a 129. I mean, the normal industry is about 130 to a 150. David talking exhaustively last night about rates. Rates are really the one thing that gets a lot of agents and brokers so uptight about, because they don't understand. They think they can go to the bank and get a bank loan now for 3 and 4 and 5%. You just can't do that. It doesn't exist that way. And even if you go into a bank now, and David gave a great illustration of that, and you got a 5-year at 12%, which is about what you're going to get, and you got collateral up. If you keep that for 5 years, it's not going to be a better rate than what we're going to be able to get you on our select funding for your clients. This week's spotlight for everybody on the select funding is a carpet and flooring business. I talked a little bit about this yesterday. They've been in business since 1993 with a 711 FICO. They're in the state of Maryland. They don't have any current positions, but this is what their bank revenue was. I want you to look at this: 78,316. Then in December, 67,658. And in January, it dropped to 30,193. Well, I was able to go ahead and get the tax return ahead of time because I knew that I was going to have to prove out last year's payback month. Payback months means if they get a funding today, they're going to be paying it back for, the next 12 months. So let's look at the last 12 months. And I went ahead and got all that in place and sent it to our select lender. The client really only needed 60,000 for a special order. They received a 60,000 offer within an hour. They actually got a $92,000 offer, which is amazing if you look back at these bank statements right here: 78, 67, and 30. I got them a $92,000 offer. That's just amazing. But they got the 60,000. They accepted the offer. They took it with the 100% prepayment discount addendum. It was funded yesterday on January the 18th. If he decides to pay it back with that 100% prepayment discount addendum, then he's only going to pay back the principal that's left owed. He's not going to have to pay all the cost of funds. A lot of people call it interest. I never use that word because these aren't interest-based fundings. They're all revenue-based fundings, and they're factor-based. The application was received, offer accepted, and funded within 2 hours and 17 minutes. I got one today. I think I'm going to do in a shorter time than that. We've got some folks that are close. You give me a file and it's close to being select funding, but it doesn't really go to select funding because of the fact of their FICO maybe not being there, not quite there, or they got some blips in revenue and some of the daily balances are bad. But we can buy down up to 6.5 points on these deals, and I can really make things happen because of that retention price. And yeah, it does affect a little bit your commission, but it's worth it. And here's one I just got in. I hope I got everyone their name off of it. I did. Okay, good. Here's one that we're getting that also got a $92,000 offer. They're doing a whole lot more revenue, but I want you to look at this. These are the sell rates. I want you to see this. They can do daily or weekly. They don't care. But a 12-month term, I'm going to be able to sell the 100% prepayment discount at a 1317. That's the sell rate, not the buy rate. That's the sell rate. They can get the same rate at 1283 if they don't want, but they're not worried about the 100% prepayment discount. But people love that, and I can go all the way down to a 122 if they want to pay it back in 6 months. These are fantastic offers. Now we got 20 lenders on the platform. Probably going to go up to about 30, and we're not going to go any higher. There's no need to. There's hundreds of lenders out there, but they're not really lenders. They're people that say they're lenders, and they're sending it to different lenders, and a lot of them are actually giving your the files of your clients to folks they shouldn't be giving it to. Yeah, but we're going to add about 5 more lenders. The platform that we got, man, is robust, and we want to fight for our clients with that platform. I want you to understand that if you really want to get your funding to larger numbers and not the giggle or the bitty, but you want them to be the larger numbers, then you got to work on the best types of businesses. You got to call on construction. Now, construction doesn't mean you're out there building a building. It could be a chimney sweep. It could be masons. It can be an HVAC, a roofer, electrician, a paver, a plumber. It's anything in that industry. So that's why you need to join your local chamber of BNI, and especially the Home Builders Association, because that's where all the people hang out. And if they see you there as someone who really cares about them, and you're not there to poach business as a member, but you're there to really give to that community and show up, you can do very well there. We got healthcare, restaurants, manufacturers. These are all going to receive these incredible offers. And of course, we want anything that's in retail. It doesn't matter whether it's an ice cream shop or a furniture store, jewelry, a bakery. It doesn't matter. That anything in retail is great business that you can get these incredible offers for. Our landscaper contractors, guess what? All that's starting to rev up down south. It'll be maybe a little bit before they do up north, but still up north, they're up there, shoveling snow and doing a lot of other things. Pool contractors, I'm just telling you, you need to start calling them now because they're looking to get their inventory built up for March and April. E-commerce, metal fabrication, it just goes on and on and on. All these different types of businesses that you can literally talk to right now because they need funding soon. You heard David talk about that last night, about the people that really need funding, and he went over that illustration last night. And last night I hope you were on there, but he went over about what a bank loan really is over 5 years versus what we do, plus putting up collateral. And again, if you guys join chambers, associations, BNI, Bank Breezy is going to refund you up to $500 in your membership cost if you once you get 100,000 in funding. That 100,000 can take you a day, a week, a month, 2 years. It doesn't matter. Once you get it, that's what you need to do. Let me stop sharing. I'm so fired up about this. And by the way, y'all see I've turned my office around a little bit. So now I got me a little window that you guys can see out. I won't be able to see much to it. It's a building across the way. But I want you to know that if you have not thought about being a member in one of these organizations, do so now. This is a great time to do that. And if you are new to David Allen Capital and the Bank Breezy platform, my suggestion to you is to get the Connect cards that you're going to pass out. Spend time on your social media. Use those social media squares that David has put out there for you for free. Start understanding this industry and how important this platform is. Start talking about the platform. It's so much easier. I was telling David today that he and I got together a week or so ago, and we started talking about the platform. And all of a sudden, I got so excited about it. All I can do when I go around is talk to my friends and talk to people that I'm running into. They had a chamber welcome breakfast the other morning here, and I went ahead and went to it. And I'm not a member of that little small chamber, but I'm going to be now, and met just a tremendous amount of people. And I was so fortunate to be able to start talking about the platform, and people are interested. They may not want to talk to you right there about their needs, but when you start talking about the platform, say, hey, yeah, I'd like to have information on the platform, but they don't want to be in public arena and in that area where you're going to talk about funding, and they're not going to let anybody know that they're in a situation where they need funding. So I'm fired up. Any questions about anything to do with funding? I would think you guys probably have all kind of how about a comment? I know from last night it was just such a oh gosh, it was such an exciting night because and the reason I'm more excited than anything is the focus of what David's got, that laser focus right now on the platform and on the funding, on making things better for every DAC agent. But we can't make you work. We can't make you pass out the card. We can't make you talk about the platform. But I would love to see 100 people join one of these organizations, and if you do that, it's almost impossible not to get funding. But if you just don't have the time in your mind to spend on going to these functions, man, it's just a plethora of prospects at every single function. So that's all I got. Morgan, we got a few people with a hand up.
Yes, McGuire, you can go ahead and unmute yourself first. Go ahead.
How you doing this morning, Wade?
I'm fired up. How are you doing?
I'm fired up as well. I got a call. Somebody's gonna or needs a call from me here after this call for to sign their offer. So um, that's kind of what I wanted to touch on, just kind of the timing and the kind of how we're approaching some of these clients as far as being a tool rather than having commission breadth and things like that. Those things, honestly, in my experience, is just can't come off, I guess, to our clients is, you know, as weird as it say or it sounds, the less, I guess, pressed we are to get, to an answer from them and move things along, has found the most success as far as getting, files in, files funded. Um, I've reached a stage where I had a long list of people who even began an application, didn't finish it, for one reason or another. Adding them to calling them a couple times a day, seeing if there's anything I can do to help. Just those type of things. But I found that being a tool to people and kind of not leaving it there, right? Just continuing to follow up with them, but not being in a way to say, hey, can we get you funded today? Can we do this? Can we do that? It comes off a lot better for some reason. I mean, we know why, right? Because if you were in their shoes, it wouldn't, you wouldn't want to be hounded. You're thinking of how can we improve the business, not how can we say yes to this person on the phone right now. So they've got a lot of things in their head. Sometimes they're scrambled. But I've had two clients that reached back out to me this morning. I left, I think, 3 voicemails to each of them this, end of last week and this week. And they both called me back. One of them was, that business that we got a pretty good offer out to, and they said they needed to think on it. And I've, reached out very politely, very calmly via text, left him a voicemail, didn't hear back, just wasn't really pressing. And he called me back and said he's had some things he needed to think about, even though it was 5 days ago. And he's ready to sign the offer now and, move things forward. So that goes even with cold calling, meeting people for the first time. If we think we're going to go out, hand somebody a card and they're going to say, actually, I was literally thinking about funding today. Could I apply and get funding? It's best case scenario, but a lot of these people have a lot going on, right? They're not running a lemonade stand. They're running, a big business here. They got a lot of things on their mind and their heart. So I would just say the more people we could reach out to as a tool, leave it there, update them, keep them in our, inner loop. You never know what people could even apply, stall out, and then come back 5 days later, or say we're good for now and apply a week later. You didn't even know. So I just think that that tool mentality, not being a tool, but being a tool that they that they can utilize from being a useful tool, not a jerk tool. Um, you'd be surprised the people that respect that when they're getting all these calls. They're like, well, these people want me to sign today. This person just let me know that there's a great opportunity here. They've sent me a couple texts, nothing too pushy. I'm gonna go with that person 9 times out of 10. So just to stay cool, calm, and collected. The more people you reach out to, obviously leads to more yeses rather than pressing on the same people over and over again, trying to get a yes out of them when they're, just looking out for what's best for them. So had some
It's something,
success come back.
McGuire. Let me ask you something, because I know for a fact you're out, not you're handing cards out and you're talking to people. Have you ever, and be honest, have you ever had one single person that just screamed at you or rude to you for giving them this information?
Nope. I think the only thing that comes close to that was somebody who was just kind of more, um, just maybe having a rough day, just like kind of not shrugged me off. It was like, yeah, yeah, I'll look at it, man. I'm kind of in the middle of a thing right now. And if you can't handle that, then, you got to think of a career change because that's life. You could hand out roses for free on the sidewalk and some people will blow you off and they're free. So, I've never gotten someone once that said, this is why are you guys doing this? I've gotten respect, this is, you're out here and when you do something like that, you're already showing that it means something to you, and you're willing to do something. You're willing to put something up there, or out there, I should say. So I think if there's someone that doesn't respect that, maybe they're having a bad day, and that can't be anything in your court. That's just people in the world. You get cut off in the road driving to get your lunch. People are going to be people, but I've never had one person say I don't respect you for doing this, and I'm mad at this
Yep.
altercation. So um,
Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that, and give me a buzz as soon as this is over, and let's get this person funded.
you got it. Let's keep
Thanks,
rolling.
man.
All right. Next up we have Carl. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey Wade, nice to see you again as always. Yeah, last night was like drinking out of a fire hose for 2 hours. That's what I shared with David. That was an incredible evening. I've already copied the links to both those amazing videos and sent them out to the entire team. Something we were just talking about all the different industries and stuff, and I know it's probably been addressed, but I wanted to bring it back to the front. Smoke shops, vape shops, head shops, medical marijuana stores. Where do they fall into funding?
All of them fall into the funding. We can get them funded. The medical marijuana is the tough part. We have not jumped in it seriously trying to do anything in the CBD marijuana space only because, it's still federal regulations that from one state to the other. I know you got state regulations and banks. Usually they're getting it easier for a bank to be able to provide the money. But a lot of in the beginning they were having to not tell the truth when they were set up bank accounts and that sort of thing. But I'm actually on the phone on Thursday, I guess that's tomorrow, with looking at the CBD more thoroughly and medical marijuana. So let's talk about it next week.
No, that's great. Like I said, I've heard it more than once in my organization, so I figured here was a good chance to find out. And there's so many businesses out there. I get it if you know somebody that's in that space, but that's not something that I'm actually, you know, well, if it all works out, that could be something that could be very advantageous to us if we have the ability to fund people like that because so many of them are declined. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Next we've got Matt Dehaime. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning, Mr. Wade Cordell and everybody on this team. What a wonderful call or two last night, wasn't it? I was as pumped as you, man. Just fire. And David, you can see the renewed focus. We all need to do that. We all need to do that because look at what happened to him. And he's been doing it, like Wade said, he's pages of notes. And he's the guy who's doing all the funding. And he's writing notes down because, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. So if you're attentive, including to these calls, I'm throwing out because Wade, you're imparting invaluable information on Wednesday. And I wish more people would respect and appreciate it. I certainly do. You see, Ellen went, 7 years. Like she and I, right? Started in 2018. January 2018, 7 years. I'm, still with this and good or bad, up and down, those peaks and valleys, and they've leveled out. Used to be high peaks, low valleys, and now it's leveled out to little peaks. And I want to get some big peaks soon and eliminate any valleys. But here's what I want to say about BNI and Chambers, because you mentioned it. If I was living there, or Nick, we would absolutely be a member of them and attend regularly. You are 100% dead on. And I'm going to encourage my team to do it. And I've not done it. I'm going to do it now because you just lit a fire that I thought about it. And I'm like, that makes no sense not to. And you said, don't be a, what did you say? The term you used?
Don't be a poacher.
Poacher. So yeah. And attending and being there of service and a resource. And I think Mr. Magoo said something about a tool. You're a resource. So that's the word. You are a resource, an invaluable resource to the business owners if or when they need you, and they always eventually will. It's just who they feel comfortable, as McGuire said, whom they choose to go with, the less pushy, more available, sincere person. Okay, last thing, connect cards and handing them out. I was there too, on the ground, like McGuire. You're doing that, right? Wade, and I first year I was up there, 2018. I got the old drop cards, and I was going business to business. I was scared, man. I was literally like terrified, but I did it anyway. A few months after I'd started, and and they were the old ones, the little ones, but I didn't realize they couldn't talk to me in front of their customers about this subject. It was inappropriate, not appropriate, inappropriate, but subtle. It's very subtle. Hand it to them, say, hey, by the way, can I have your business card just to follow up in case there's something else I can't share with you right now? Right? Just guys, record that, because that's exactly what they need to hear from you under that scenario, in those circumstances, to save face, to not, and retain the relationship with you, and say, this guy's respecting me and he's not being a jerk, right? And imposing in front of my clients. How dare you ask me if I need money in front of my customers? What are you, a bozo? Right, exactly. Hey, would it be okay if I had your business card? I could follow up with you, just give you more information about this when you have more time to think about it. My God, that's everything. Oh, now you got a stack of them. When you get back home, 2 days, 5 days later, you got their email on there, you got their phone number, you can text them. Hey, it was great meeting you. I know you couldn't talk to me at your business, but here's what we do. Here's why we do it. And this is what I can do. Boom, boom, boom. That last thing, I called a landscaper. I said, man, I'm like we all are, reinvent ourselves. I said, I'm going back to my hometown area where I grew up in the Hillsdale, New Jersey. All right, Bergen County, up that way, nice little country area outside of New York, northwest there. And landscapers, like, I'm gonna call my landscapers. It's right in my community. Boom, phenomenal conversation. Chief of police I went to high school with. Look at that. I mean, boom. Oh yeah, I know him. He knows me. Next call was the next town over to another high school area. Hey, how are you? Landscapers doing $100,000 a month. It's snow plowing. I checked, by the way. They are plowing snow, and they do more revenue plowing snow than they do in the spring and the summer. Believe it or not, with all the snowfall, they do more revenue. So I'm like, yeah, and this has to do with keeping up with the Joneses, guys. One of the motivations why people want to. It's illogical, right? To buy, impulse, all that stuff. But this is valid. This is legitimate. But the motivation of wanting to deal or consider doing this and acting and taking action is because, well, the other landscaper you just told me about in Hillsdale, he's doing it. He's thinking about taking a funding with you. I better keep up with them. Keeping up with the Joneses can't be understated. So you can mention, if you're calling or canvassing an area, right? Guys, I'm doing it. And he was so receptive. He's going to put an application in today, Wade. You're going to see it come through. Guys in a landscaper. And he's doing $100,000. He only needs 50. His credit score is like 680-ish. He says, I told him he may or may not get be approved for our select funding. But either way, he only needs 50, and he's got a specific use for the funds. Went over the cost of funds. All right. So he's prepared. He's qualified in his mind. If he does, he's going to accept the offer if approved. Okay. But my point is the value in utilizing, and the word is leveraging, your relationships, right? Leveraging your relationships by saying, oh, by the way, you may or may not know blah, 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 landscaping over here. Yeah, I was just talking to him. He's probably going to proceed. He also needs this. You may or may not need it, but he's going ahead probably with it next week. I just wanted to let you know that you may, benefit from this, blah, blah, blah. Would it be okay if I shoot you out my link? Is it your email? He's like, boom, right at it, man. He was like, yeah. As soon as he heard that, his tone, his attention just light went on. Like, oh, wait a minute. My neighbor next town's competing. He's going to get money, and I'm going to be at a disadvantage. That's how you use it. Leverage your relationships. That's all. That's my little tip for the day. Going.
Thank you, brother. You always come with great stuff. The reason that that Matt and Nick are always in the top when it comes to production is that every client they have, they treat them like they're supposed to be treated. They stay in touch with them. They're always there for them. They're making certain that if they got a need, they're the ones they're going to call. So good job. Who else we got?
All right, we've got Sandra next. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Great. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Great. Hi, Wade. Okay, so I'm new to the NCA funding. I pretty much do startups, and so I had a really bad experience yesterday with just kind of what David had stated last night in the call, where I guess a funder, I sent it to somewhere, and then my client got all these calls, these annoying calls from all these other people. And so I just wanted to just verify the process with David Allen, that so when I send it to you all, he's not going to get all these random calls. Is that correct? He's only going to get maybe a call from our Bank Breezy. Can you just kind of explain the process to me?
Yeah, Sandra, let me just tell you what the biggest problem is. Clients wind up sending the files to companies. They tell you that they're just working with you, and they'll send it to a couple different places, and they'll go online. If you go online and you send it to someone, then you're going to get bombarded, because a lot of those are lead people. And they say, and they don't really like Bank Breezy platform. This is not a lead platform. This is for you. And the only people that are none of our files are ever sold. None of our files are ever going to leave our community that we got set up here. But I will tell you that there are things such as called trigger leads that are sold by Experian mostly. You also now got TransUnion and Equifax doing that, where they will literally, I mean, I can go to them and buy the latest people that apply, the latest businesses that apply. I can't get the bank account information, but I can get everything else, and I know who they applied with and all that. But I'm not going to go pay for those. That's annoying. It's just intrusive. But to answer your question, no, they're not going to get calls because of us, and get it from none of our lenders are going to contact them either. We don't shotgun lenders, by the way. When we look at the file, our internal team looks and says, okay, here are the best lenders that we need to send this to. We're not going to send it to On Deck or Rapid or Credibly if it doesn't belong in that space. We can look at it. We know pretty much where it belongs. And then none of our lenders will ever circumvent us. If they ever tried to circumvent us, they'd be gone. I mean, in the past, years ago, that happened all the time. It just doesn't happen now. We've got incredible relationships. People are calling us, wanting to be on our platform because they know that we understand what we're doing and we're going to make it happen. But I can't stop the trigger leads from happening. That's always going to be happening, no matter who they apply with. But they're not going to get a ton of lenders calling them because of the fact that you submitted to us.
Okay, that's exactly. This was a personal friend, so I know that he didn't actually go and apply with someone else. He actually applied. He's a personal friend of mine, and so it just annoyed me that this particular funder, and he even said, Sandra, I'm sorry, it got probably sold to someone else since we weren't able to find, and that's how it works in this this RAM. So I will definitely just try to send it to you all and just see if possibly he can get with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, Norma, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Morgan. Great training today. And thank you so much for sharing the comment about not being a tool. Not being a fool and being a tool. Thank you. Okay, two things. Question, do we have lines of credit for general contractors where they can have a monthly payback rather than a daily or weekly? That's question number one.
The answer to that is contract. There is no such thing as getting lines of credit for certain industries like transportation, and construction's very, very difficult to get lines of credit for. But we do have monthly paybacks on lines of credit if they approve them.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. And the second question, you had mentioned something about buying down the cost. I'm exactly not sure what it was that you said,
Okay.
but I wanted to get clarification on
Yeah,
that
let
because
me-
you mentioned that it would impact the commission.
Yeah. What I mean by that is they give me a rate, and then I can say, and we got so many points in that rate. I can say, okay, take these points off. So instead of giving me a 130 sell rate, I want a 125, and I realize that's going to affect our commission by 5 points.
Oh, got you, because they're actually paying for those points to reduce the cost of payback.
Correct.
Thank you so
We
much.
don't-
Have an
We
amazing
don't
day.
have to do that much, but every once in a while we just have to. I mean, especially if you got $1 million deal and you weren't going to pay full commission, but if you made half commission on $1 million deal, you'd probably be pretty happy. We wouldn't get it any other way. So that's what I'm talking about.
That makes so much sense. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, and last but not least, we have McGuire again. Go ahead, McGuire.
Just wanted to jump in off of Matt's point. I don't know if you guys can see me or not. I turned my camera on. Can you spotlight me? Just wanted to show you guys this. This is from a few days of being out in the field. Just wanted to let everyone know people are not out there doing this, talking to people in person. I've even got sticky notes from owners who, didn't have a card on them. They want to give their email out. They want another person to be in contact with them. I hit 10, 20 restaurants, businesses, even stopped at some banks, got PNC, Truist, just all these different, availabilities out on the street. No one is going into these places and calling or talking to these people face to face. It's a bunch of spam calls, texts. So you'd be surprised when, you walk in and talk to somebody, have a smile on your face. It's a breath of fresh air for them. They might be hearing, funding things they've already heard, but they've never had someone that was willing to come in and appreciate their business, maybe order a drink or something from them. So the power of in person, creating that relationship. I added all of this whole stack to my own CRM, and I email them frequently. I've heard back from many of them. They know me. They know they're going to call me if that time comes for them, and that's all I care. I just say, if you can remember Bank Breezy, DAC, and McGuire Tate, that's all that I care about today. Because when that time comes, it's probably not today from what we talked about, but when that time comes, we're not going to call you a million times. We're going to get you the best offers that are out there available to you guys, and you leave it there. And it does not need to be more complicated than that. You exchange cards, add it to your computer, send them some great emails, and don't be that pressing. Don't be a tool, just like you said. That's all I got.
Good job, man. Great job with everybody. This has been a really good day of questions. I know you guys have to be fired up. I'm not going to be happy until those 51 people that are on is 5,000 people that are on, because everybody, I know that people have regular JOBs sometimes they have to go to, but we got to get people motivated because the train has already left the station, and now it's a supersonic one this time. I think we have one more hand up, Morgan, and that is Ray.
Yes, Ray, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I just have a question about cold emails, if it has worked for anybody, because I'm sitting in a particular situation where I get a daily list of thousands and thousands of industries that are looking for capital. And I need to know what's the best way for me to introduce myself. If there's anybody that has any tips on cold emails that has worked for them.
I'm actually experimenting on some right now. If you send me an email to wade@bankbreezy.com, I'm doing an investigation on it, and I'm going to, because they never have worked for me in the past, in a large percentage, but they do work. And if it's a local group a local set of emails and you're in that particular area, there's a whole lot of things you can do to even strengthen that email. So give me a week, and this is about my fourth day of really researching this company, and I've had 2 Zoom calls with them about how can I strengthen this email where I'm going to at least get someone to say, hey, yeah, tell me about the platform. Because all I want to do now is I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm not trying to get them to do funding. I'm trying to get them to understand what the platform is about.
This is great. I'll be even willing to get a list together for your own market for you to test it, because there's a lot of information I have on all these records that are coming in. I mean, it's like credit score, work. Yeah. I mean, there's so much. I'd really like to have a one-on-one with you and explore how we can take advantage of this, not only for my benefit, like for everybody in our community.
Let me do my due diligence on what I've already done. I mean, remember, I've already done this before, and I didn't have great success, but I know that it works. I just gotta get the correct roadmap.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hey, y'all have a blessed rest of the week, and